You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Doing the earliest things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, we appreciate you coming by. And refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss one, the TikTok, and Chris Voss, Facebook.com. And all the wonderful people we bring you with the bright ideas, the wonderful authors, etc., etc. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today we're joined by Michelle Phillips. She is the author of a multitude of books, including the one we'll talk about today mostly, called The Creator Heals, out March 1st, 2015. And we're getting into with her and her insights and some of the things that she's into, as it were, and you might be as well. Michelle Phillips is an internationally renowned psychic, medium, healer, speaker, teacher, author, and workshop facilitator. She was born conscious of her gifts and has always had a direct connection to the source. She refers to Christ as her main man, and he's been with her from a very young age, not through a church or religion, but as her spiritual teacher and confidant. He's taught her many healing modalities through her own healing process. She began her conscious spiritual work after healing her son from a severe kidney disease. She began her spiritual work with herself and others through inner child healing, and she's dedicated her life to assisting others in their soul's awakening purpose and mission. Welcome to the show, Michelle. How are you?
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on. God, as I listened to that introduction, I'd kind of like to meet her.
Yeah, she sounds amazing. Wait, it's you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah.
So, Michelle, give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs and search?
If you go to my website, just soulsawakening.com. Yeah.
All right. Michelle, give us an over 30,000 overview of what's inside the Creator Heals book.
Okay. The Creator Heals came to me after I was working somewhere, and a woman had gone through a dark night of the soul like I'd gone through, and she kept talking about it, and I'm thinking, I know it, I've got it, I've heard it, and I felt myself opening up to it again. And the Creator said to me, I had matched and merged with the energy she was putting out, because the Creator says if we could imagine our energy body, our etheric body, has a collective DNA system, and we're always matching and merging with our environment. So when we understand that, we can choose what we want to match and merge with. So the book really takes us through the journey of how to do that, really going through the pineal gland, the DNA connection to God's source, and then matching and merging with whatever you'd like to have in your life. And we know it tracks, so. Yeah.
That's true. So how do I apply that to keep, what I don't want to be attached to, bad juju or bad news or something. I don't know, maybe.
There's some bad news going on right now.
I've seen the news lately.
Yeah.
The news always leads, what's the old saying with the news? If it bleeds, it leads. So there's always usually bad news that cometh from that source. But, sometimes it's good to know. You want to know.
Absolutely.
I want to know if there's an earthquake coming my way or a tornado so I can prepare. Yeah. So how do we apply those techniques?
When we have an understanding of it, again, we can choose what we want to match and merge with. There's so much going on, in our world right now. And I found myself watching the news quite a bit, which I didn't used to do. I would watch it to know what's going on in the world. But then I just started feeling this depression and feeling horrible. And I thought, okay, I'm matching and merging with what I'm watching now. So again, when you understand, you can go through your pineal gland, the DNA connection to Mother, Father, Creator, and start unplugging from all that stuff. And then choosing if we want whatever we want in our life, to match and merge with love and harmony or whatever. And then your whole system just starts matching and merging with it. It's almost like butterfly wings, opening up. Yeah.
I want to match with tacos and pizza.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. They're tasty. They're tasty.
They're very
mussels.
good.
Well, so what is this gland that you're referring to? I'm going to say it wrong, which will probably create comedy, but what is this gland you're referring to?
Okay, the pineal gland is in the middle of our brain, and it's our DNA connection to source, like to Mother, Father, God, Creator, whatever you want to call God to be. You know, God doesn't care as long as you call here. So as we open the pineal gland, yeah, I know.
I think my mom's tuned into that.
Yeah. My kids say the same thing.
Yeah. Have you called yet? Have you called your mom yet? You should call your mom.
Yeah. So anyway, you go through the pineal gland. Imagine yourself through your core, and it's the DNA connection to source. So as you move up, you can open the gland and move up into the highest consciousness of God or Creator, what the Creator is calling now beyond the beyond, where there's no story. And then you just set the intention of what you'd like to have in your life. And because it's coming from source, that energy then moves down into your whole etheric body. You match and merge with it. It's very easy. And yeah. It's very easy to do and powerful.
And when did you discover this power and this source in the gland?
Probably about 15, 20 years ago. It was brought to me by my man, Jesus. And like I said, he's not through religion or church. He's just always been with me, and he's taught me my work. So when he started teaching me the pineal gland, I was doing a small workshop then, and I was going around the room, and I was literally had my finger over their pineal gland and opening it up like that. And it was mind-blowing to see all these beautiful colors and DNA moving up there. And since then, we're doing it, we with Spirit, in a different way. Like we'll open it with groups. But it really assisted me to understand what he was talking about and what I was doing. Yeah.
And so that prompted you to write the book. Once you understood this, tell us about, we'll circle back to your other books, but tell us about your journey through life. When did you first become aware of some of these powers that you have and things were either speaking to you or happening to you, however you define it?
Yeah. I always had a connection to God or Spirit. As a little girl, I always knew God was my real mommy and daddy. I mean, I used to lay in bed at night and cry. Mommy, daddy, let me come home. I couldn't imagine what I was doing down here. And I felt guilty, like I'd done something wrong. And like many of us, my childhood was somewhat challenging. And so when I really started doing my work, it was going back into the womb, the childhood, and started clearing a lot of that old pain and hurt out. And then when I started doing the work with myself, I was guided to this holistic health college. And at the time, I mean, this was many years ago, I didn't even know what holistic health meant. And I thought, I don't want to go there. And Jesus said, go enroll. I said, I don't want to go there with all those hippies. He said, enroll. And my mother, whom I had divorced, I don't know how many years prior, my brother told her I was going to this college, and she contacted me and offered to pay my way. So that was the healing that started taking place in us. And then when I started doing massage, I thought, I don't want to do massage with people. And I could see inside their bodies, and I could see in their lower chakras. I could see what it was like when they were in the mother's womb, where they started picking up their belief systems patterns, and then how they were playing them out. And then I just started taking people into past lives. It just happened. But I've always believed in past lives. I mean, the age of 3, I knew I'd lived before, and was kind of taking myself into other lifetimes. Wow. And it just keeps evolving. It's evolved.
And so it just kind of started happening to you.
It did happen.
Was there like a moment when it first started happening? You're like, whoa, what is going on here, eh?
No, because as a child, I could always read people, but I didn't know I was reading people. When children have that gift, they think everyone has it. So it was just an eventual, evolving. But I also went through a lot in my life, and everything I've been through was such a gift for me, because I know what other people are going through. And I have love and compassion over it. It's like I've gone through a couple heavy dark nights of the soul. And I think every time we go through a dark night of the soul, if we allow ourselves to, when we come out, it's lighter for it. It's brighter for us. So again, I've always had the gift.
It's a gift to have. It seems to have an impact on people and stuff like that. Let's talk about a couple of your other books. Let's get in those. What were the other ones we had that we want to talk about?
Surfing Through Heaven's Doorway. I'll hold it up. It's the book I did with my son after he left this world. And he actually works with me now from the higher realms. And when I'm doing workshops or sessions, everyone feels him with them. And he has great humor. So they can feel his humor. He had humor on the earth plane. But when he left, even though I've worked with people, that have lost children or whatever, and now as I look back, I think, God, some of the stupid things I probably said to them, but I didn't know. I'd never gone through the experience of it. But I was heartbroken. I really didn't know if I was going to get through it. And then Mother Mary came to me the night he passed. I was just sobbing, and she held me and she said, I know what it's like to lose a son. She said, I lost mine. And she gave me the name of the book, Surfing Through Heaven's Doorways, because Frank was a surfer dude. He lived in Hawaii and the ocean was his life. So then I started just journaling everything I was going through because I knew I was going to write a book about it. And then they started taking me into the higher dimensions also. So what it's like when you leave this world and move into the higher dimensions and go through back into the light with family and the karmic board and all of that. And it's interesting because my mother and I, like I said, had a very challenging relationship. And after Frank left, I was so torn up. I wanted to leave also. I felt like I was leaving. And I was in Sweden on a tour working. And I left a note for, I don't know, whoever was going to find me, call my brother in California, blah, blah, whatever. And so I think I'm more in spirit. And I wake up the next morning, I'm there, but I'm also here. And I hear, Michelle, listen to me. This is your mother. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if things aren't bad enough, now my mom's here, But she really helped me move through that. And she's with me so much now also. So she really healed our relationship from the other side. It's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. To get that reconciled and repaired.
Oh my God, absolutely.
I think you have another book called The Creator, Archangels, and Masters Speak on the Cosmic Ascension. Do you want to tease that out a little bit?
Yeah. So this is what's going on in our world right now. So it's a higher picture of all of it, the doom and gloom. So all the different masters and teachers came through in this book after I decided I wasn't going to do another book. And I was standing in my kitchen and Archangel Michael came up behind me and asked me to transcribe something. Of course, so I went to write it down. And then the next day, same thing. He came up and asked me to transcribe something. When I sat down to do it, Archangel Gabriel came through, and then I started writing the name of all these masters and angels and even Mother Mary. And I thought, oh my God, this is another book, which I wasn't going to do. But it came through very quickly because they want people to have an understanding of the larger picture of what's going on in our world right now, instead of matching and merging with the doom and gloom, really match and merge with the hope and the higher understanding of life on planet Earth right now.
Hope springs eternal, as they say about human beings, and it seems to be the one thing about us that we find that sustains us. It's gotten us this far. Let's put it that way.
It has. It still is, yeah.
Now, on your website, soulawakening.com, tell us about some of the different things you do for clients out there, prospective clients out there. What sort of clients work with you? Do you have a sort of profile that they have to work with you? Tell us about everything you're offering there.
Yeah, just anyone that's having a difficult time. And because I have had a lot of experience here, I can travel like a shaman, so many different dimensions. I do a lot of shadow work, which isn't my favorite to do, but I know how to do it. I was taught how to do that. And I do a lot of past life work with people. And it's amazing because when people come to me, and I even say, it doesn't even make any difference if you believe in past lives. We just want to clear the patterns that are controlling you in this lifetime. So then when we do the past life regression and we do soul retrieval, we bring the aspects of them that were stuck wherever, other lifetime, whatever, back into them now. It just clears the pattern out. And invariably, everyone will say, oh my God, that's what I've been experiencing in this lifetime. So again, as you clear it there, it clears it back now, now.
And so tell us about, so you do courses, one-on-ones? What sort of things do you do with people there?
Yeah, I do one-on-ones and I do workshops Yeah, a lot of workshops. And I do a lot of DNA work, past life work, DNA, inner child, because I feel like our childhood, as a creator is speaking in my first book, The Creator Speaks, our childhood is our roadmap to freedom. So anything that's gone on in the childhood, if you don't heal it in some way, it still controls you. So it's really important. So all the work that I do with others, we end up bringing their inner child to people. And then I do sessions also just healing the inner child. But I do a lot of work with the DNA also. I don't know how many years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer and uterine cancer. And the way spirit comes through me, intuitively, I'll just have a feeling, do this or whatever. So I thought, who in my life's had the health challenges I've had? And I could see that it was my father. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can go into his DNA. And although we know we are our parents and we are an extension of them or whatever, like we know, okay, I married my father or my mother or whatever. And when I was in the DNA, I absolutely experienced I'd married my father twice, those patterns, yeah. So the patterns, again, like they're in your whole system and attracts like. So when I was in there, I just went through his whole DNA and started doing soul retrieval. And I started bringing the aspects of me that were trapped in the DNA back into me. And then I thought, if I can go into my father's DNA, I can go into my mother's, and did the same thing. And I had 2 biopsies that said I had cancer. And I went in for cancer surgery because I thought, I don't need this part of me any longer, or I don't want any more children. I might do it differently now. But then I was busy with my work and not a trace of cancer was found. So I feel like there's so many different ways right now that we can heal ourselves. And soul retrieval is absolutely one of them.
Yeah. I need soul retrieval. I sold my soul for this podcast. And
you're doing a pretty good job with it.
I got $5 for selling my soul for the podcast. So $5 is $5.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a joke we do on the show. So people can reach out to you and you can help them with all sorts of past life stuff and different things. I see you have some workshops on your website, retreats that you're doing. Anything new coming up here soon?
I'm doing the Daughters of Heaven retreat here in Sedona. That's in September. I need to update my website here. And then I will be in Sweden for a couple months in September. I just wanted to share something with you with past lives. Have you ever had past life work done?
No.
Is it something you even believe in? Or
I'm not really sure that I'm there.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because I thought, okay, I'm going to be on your show. I'm going to see where Spirit wants to take me with you into a past life.
Well, we don't psychoanalyze Chris on the show.
No, this isn't psychoanalyzing.
Okay.
I thought it was fun. So we went into a past life, and it was in the UK, and you were a politician, I could see, with this white wig on, and
Really?
you were with so many other politicians, and you were working to abolish slavery.
Oh, wow. In the UK?
In the UK, yeah.
Oh.
And that was in I had to look it up. 1833 is when it took effect, but not until August 1st, 1834 that it really went through.
So this came to you then?
Yeah, this is what they're showing me.
Wow.
So then it was so interesting because I thought, okay, from what I understand, you have had quite a few politicians on your show.
Yeah,
and I thought, then that would make sense because in that lifetime you were very instrumental in assisting to abolish slavery. So
we do a lot of politics on the show, and we talk politics and stuff, and we have romance novels on too, so we don't just do the one thing. But
I see you have a bit of everything. But anyway, I thought that was great. I love doing that. And I hope you enjoyed it. So
that would be fun. Yeah. I thought we were going to walk through something, and we've had one gentleman tried to hypnotize me on the show, and I'm like, we just don't do this sort of stuff on the show. We're here to interview you, the great guests we have on the show.
Yeah.
I don't want my show to find out I'm insane. Oh, wait, they already know that.
I think we're all pretty insane, actually. Yeah.
That's probably true at this point, right?
I think that's how we get through life.
Yeah, it's a challenge, People got to hold on to what they can. I mean, a lot of people leave traumatic lives, especially in childhood, and they hold on to what they can, and you're not really adapted to understand what life is and what's being thrown at you. And for some people, it comes later in life where life hands them back whatever their trauma was from childhood and says, here, you can probably fix this now. You're probably point in your life where you can understand what happened to you or try and reconcile. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works.
It's an amazing life down here, I have found. Yeah, really interesting.
I've liked it. I mean, overall, you got to like it because what are you going to do? Last time I checked, they didn't have any other options. So I'm still waiting for the aliens to show up and give me options. But until then.
You're doing a lot for a lot of people. So thank you for that.
I hope I am. I hope we're changing the world and making the world a better place in a little corner. We're improving people's lives. And from what I hear of what people listen to on the show, it's working. We got that going for us. We're at least moving in some sort of direction.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
So we'll just keep doing it. So tell people how they can onboard with you, how they can buy your books, how they can reach out to you for future stuff and stay in touch with you.
My books are on Amazon if they are interested. And the first book that came through me, The Creator Speaks, and it came through me in actually 2004. I'd been in India and went through a near-death experience. And when I was leaving, I was really excited. And my team says, you need to go back to the earth. I said, I don't want to go back. And they said, if you go back, you'll have all the love you've always wanted in life. Wow. And so I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go back and I'm going to have this perfect relationship, a man, that loves me. So we started negotiating, and I guess I agreed because next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in my body and I'm a baby. And it's the way I felt as a child, like, with God, mommy, daddy, I want to come home. And I was this baby, and yet I still had the adult mind. And I thought, oh my God, so this is what it's like to be a child that's born in love. So that was the love they were bringing to me and that foundation. So then when I got back to America, I channeled this book. And I am dyslexic, so I don't even read much. So when this book started coming through me, I was just blown away by it. And I couldn't get it published till 2009 because it was so ahead of its time. But now my daughter, who researches everything, said, oh God, Mom, what's in the book is what everyone's talking about it now. Because back then it was very much ahead of its time. So I have done now 5 books. And I'm not saying this from ego. I'm saying this because we have so many gifts inside of us that are just waiting to wake up, that are waiting to be given to us if we can get out of our own way.
And so people can reach out to you on the website. You have a newsletter and stuff like that. Is there a way for them do they email you?
Yes, yeah. So they can go into my store and sign up, if they want a session, or just give me their email and I will send information out to them. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Michelle, for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It'll be insightful stuff. And everyone needs the help and mental help, especially in today's world, that's for sure.
A little bit.
Give me your .coms as we go out.
soulsawakening.com.
And folks, order the books wherever fine books are sold. You can find her multiple books on Amazon. The Creator Heals, out March 1st, 2015, by Michelle Phillips. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have